Hello, we're in Bratislava, Slovakia, and in this video you're gonna find out what you can do in Bratislava in the time span of a day. So I'm like a monkey stand right now. So the first place we're going to is Devin Castle, which is not actually inside the city of Bratislava, but it's only a 30-minute ride away by public transportation, or more around 25 minutes if you're taking a car. But we don't have a car, so we're taking the trains and the buses. The public transportation in Bratislava, or maybe in all of Slovakia, seems pretty decent. And the most surprising thing about it is how cheap it is. It's 3.5 euros for a full day pass, that's around $4. And it's 8 euros for a 72-hour pass, which is a lot cheaper than what it is in LA, where I believe it's $7 for a full day pass. And it's actually completely free if you're under 26 years old and a citizen of a EU country. And I've never seen anything like that before. She doesn't need to sleep. Alright, we're in the town. We're in the town of Devin, and we just saw signs leading us to Rad Devin. I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I believe that means Devin Castle. And it's cooler today than we expected it to be, or what Google told us it would be. So it's not exactly tank top weather right now, but that's okay because I have an extra t-shirt. But it's not so okay for Anna because she doesn't have anything else.
Great.
Great.
Study.
Okay, so we totally just walked into the middle of a Slovakian film set back there, but we're finally here at Devin Castle. We're in the castle grounds. It's 2.5 euros for entry with a student ID, but they didn't even check our student ID. But more importantly, we found the animals, or the donkeys.
You think I can touch it?
Well, we'll find out. Come on. Be nice.
Oh, look at how long his ears are.
Oh my god, you're the best, aren't you? Hello, donkey.
Oh.
After a lot of stairs, we're finally on top of Devin Castle. To one side, we can see this really picturesque, pretty town over here. And on the other side is the Danube River. And I believe it's Austria, or Österreich, as they call it in German. Österreich, as they call it in German, on the other side. Now, this castle has a long, rich history. It's believed to be one of the oldest castles in all of Slovakia. And I think it's believed to be more than 1,000 years old. This castle actually stands on what used to be the western edge of the Hungarian Empire. Now, Slovakia as a nation isn't that old. It came about 25 years ago after the Velvet Revolution. But before that, it was in Czechoslovakia. Before that, it was in the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It was even a part of the Ottoman Empire at some point. So even though Slovakia as a country is very new, the Slovak people and the Slovak ethnicity and culture has been around for more than 1,000 years. Fun fact, Slovakia actually has the most castles per capita in the world. That's why if you go around the country, you're probably going to run into a lot of pretty castles like this one. How do you say Austria in German? Österreich.
You confused me. Österreich.
Alright, so we're done seeing Devin Castle. And at some point in the last 2 hours, it went from being chilly to being kind of hot, to be honest, and it's sunny right now. Which isn't the worst, because that's what I'm dressed for. What we're dressed for, I guess.
Yep.
Now we're gonna find ourselves some delicious Slovakian food. Why does Budweiser seem to be so popular in Slovakia? Yeah, so we're trying to figure out how the Slovakian menu works, but thank God the waitress came and saved our butts. And we ordered this traditional Slovak meal, which is potato dumplings with sheep cheese and bacon. Are you excited?
I am.
So that was a really solid meal right there. It was nothing exceptional, but I love cheese in general, and I guess sheep cheese is just as good as any other cheese. And I really had a hard time finishing it because there was so much food, even though I was starving beforehand. I guess backpacking around for the last 3 weeks or so has gotten me used to not eating a lot outside in order to save money. Now we're gonna head to Bratislava to see more castles and more cool stuff. Okay, so a couple of hours later and we are in Bratislava Castle, which, like the name suggests, is the main castle in Bratislava. And we are in the castle courtyard right now in front of the museum, which is closed today for some reason. Interestingly, the hill where Bratislava Castle is situated has been inhabited for more than 5,500 years, and that's precisely because of its strategic location by the Danube River. If you didn't know, Slovakia, the country, is actually placed in the dead center of Europe geographically, at least according to some measurements. And because of this reason, Slovakia has often been the borderlines between different empires and a place where a lot of wars have taken place throughout history. So because of the high altitude of Bratislava Castle, this place actually serves as an excellent viewpoint to watch the rest of Bratislava. On a clear day, you can actually see all the way across to Hungary and Austria. In case you didn't know, Bratislava is the only capital city in the world that lies on the border of 2 other countries. So we're at the back of the Bratislava Castle, and this part seems like it's the most gorgeous part of this entire castle complex. The beauty of it isn't surprising when you think about the fact that this was the main castle for the Hungarian Empire for, I think, about 200 years. So if you go down the hill from Bratislava Castle and walk a couple of 100 meters, you go into what used to be the old town of Bratislava, which is now a very trendy place with a lot of cafes and Irish pubs and all that jazz. And right now we're next to this very popular fountain called Roland's Fountain, which is right next to the old town hall. Alright, so if you walk a few 100 meters from the old town hall and the fountain, you get to this massive and really pretty 500-year-old cathedral called St. Martin's Cathedral, which I think is worth checking out. I think we're gonna go get some ice cream right now because Anna's hungry. I got myself a chocolate cup and Anna's having some weird flavor. I don't know what it is right now.
Maracuja and cookies. What's weird with that?
Something and cookies. But yeah.
Maracuja.
Maracuja and cookies. Anyways, this is a pretty spot for having ice cream. So the view from Bratislava Castle was pretty good. But right now we're headed to this place called the UFO Bar Observation Deck, which is supposed to have the best view of Bratislava during sunset. So this UFO Bar Observation Desk is a bar that's located on a skyscraper that is in the middle of a bridge that crosses the Danube River. So it should be an awesome view nonetheless. Top floor.
Welcome to the UFO.
Alright, so the observation deck of the UFO tower, and it's not in the middle of the bridge like I said earlier, but it's on one side of the Danube, but it does overlook the Danube and everything else, and it's €7.40 to get in here, which is a bit steep for me, I'd say. I would probably not come back here and pay this price again, but it's a pretty nice view. And if you have the money to spend, I'd say it's a pretty cool thing to do if you're visiting Bratislava. I think the best thing about this part so far is that they have free binoculars that Anna can't get enough of. And there's also a bar where you can, or there are also 2 bars downstairs where you can have beers. They do have a restaurant, and if you visit that restaurant, you don't have to pay the €7.40 to come up here. But I've heard a meal at that restaurant costs around €50, and they charge more than €5 just for the water. So, unless you're looking to buy a really expensive meal, this is probably your cheapest way to do this. So it might have been €4 or €7 to get up here, but this bar definitely has the best view I've ever seen from a bar, especially at sunset time. And the beers really aren't that expensive. I think this was around €4. So I think coming here is definitely worth it. Go to this observation deck and have a drink if you're into that, or just have a burger for €10 if you're into that. That's it for this video. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the like button. If you want to watch more videos by me, hit the subscribe button so you can see more videos from Europe, Asia, Latin America, and a couple of other places. If you have any questions about Bratislava or this trip in general or traveling around the area, feel free to leave them in the comments section. I'll get back to every single question that you have for me. Thank you again for watching. See you guys in the next video. Cheers.
Cheers.
God, that is like the worst cheers ever. That is the lowest energy I've ever seen put into a cheers.